Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi. Hi,
Yes,
how are
I
you?
can hear you.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
have you watched
Uh,
the video of the previous session?
yes,
Mhm,
yes, I watched the video
mhm.
and I wrote the good vocabularies. The title was Eyes Averted Enemies of Democracy
Democracy.
Try While the Circus
Democracy.
Democracy
Mhm,
Try. Mhm.
mhm,
While this circus
mhm.
continues.
Yes.
The first one is it's avert and avert your eyes or
Mhm,
eyes averted. It
mhm,
means to look away for something that you don't want to see it. For example, he averted his eyes
mhm.
while she undressed,
Yes,
for
very
example.
good. Yes.
Uh,
But wait, Shirin, you said
and
eyes averted or avert your eyes. You cannot say or this because when I said avert your eyes, it was an imperative. You know what imperative is, right? Imperative in Farsi is
imperative
imperative.
um,
Amri,
amri.
yes, Amri, Jumle
Um,
Amri.
mm,
So when I say avert your eyes, I mean cover
mhm.
your eyes. I'm talking to you, I'm giving you an
Uh-huh.
order. But there, in that title, eyes
Mhm.
averted was something else. It was not an imperative.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's actually a reduced
Mhm.
clause.
Uh-huh.
What was the full form?
Uh-huh. Full form.
Mm-hmm.
Um, averted.
No.
Uh, mm, oh, enemies
No, no,
averted.
no. It doesn't have
They.
anything to do with the enemies, no. Just eyes averted
Mhm.
is a reduced clause.
Mhm.
Eyes
Oh,
averted. I just want this, the full relative clause. Forget about the rest of the sentence. Just this short clause. What's the full form?
full form.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get what you mean.
Full form.
نمی‌فهمم. چرا؟
Full means kamil. Full form.
Mhm. Eyes averted.
Averted, yes. That was
Full form.
part of the title, but it's actually
Mhm.
reduced from a longer one.
Mhm.
What's the longer form?
Um, they
Mm-hmm.
no. They averted
No,
their eyes.
no, no, no,
Mm. Enemies of democracy
no, no. Forget
avert.
about that part. No, no, no.
Mhm.
Just the first one, just
Mm.
the red part of the title. Is Bezat there?
Eyes avert. No.
No, okay.
Eyes avert.
No. Let me give you an
Avert.
example. I'll give you an example, Shireen, and then based on my example,
Mhm.
you can make a guess.
Mhm.
For example,
Mhm. Okay.
you see this title, for example, maybe in an article about the church. Forgiven
Mhm.
sinners. What does it mean in Farsi? Forgiven sinners.
یعنی ببخشین گناهکاران رو
No, it's not
مثلا.
an imperative. No.
Mhm.
If it was an imperative, I'd say
Mhm.
forgive sinners. No, this one is forgiven sinners.
Ah. Sinners are
Mhm.
forgiven.
No, no, no. I'm not asking the full form, just the meaning. Just the meaning. Forgiven sinners.
Mhm.
What is the meaning of forgiven sinners in Farsi?
یعنی گناهکارانه بخشیده شده.
Yes, very good. Exactly. So, what is the full form? Sinners who were forgiven. Sinners who are forgiven. Sinners who have been forgiven, maybe. These all could be the full form. Now, eyes averted. What's the full form? Eyes averted.
Eyes averted. Eyes. Sinners are forgiven. Eyes. Eyes. Eyes which or that are averted.
Exactly. Eyes which are averted, and it's passive too. Very good. Okay, go on. Go on with the review, please.
Okay. And the next one is a tribe. Tribe.
No, that's not the pronunciation, Shirin. Pronounce it correctly.
Thrive.
Very good. So you can do it. Why don't you? Thrive. Yes. Okay. You don't have to say it fast. Just try and focus on the pronunciation. Thrive. Very good. Go on.
It's a formal word and it means to become very strong and successful.
Yes.
And the next one is dispute. And the word didn't stop turning on its axis because
what?
the US.
Wait. Shirin, the world didn't stop turning on?
Its axis because
yes.
the US and ensuing disputes. The word did not stop. It means word. It's not stop for example, the USA and their election. And dispute is a noun, and it means serious argument. And ensuing,
okay, Shirin,
it's an adjective.
You said the world didn't stop turning on its axis. There is another expression in English that almost means the same thing. When, for example, someone thinks that the problem they have is very important, you tell them, excuse me, the world did not stop turning on its axis. It means your problem is not important. Everything is going on. You have to just get back on track and forget about that problem or find a solution. There's another expression that we use in Farsi too. We use the translation in Farsi too. Do you know anything about it? When someone feels really desperate, they think their problem is very, very difficult, and they think they have to, I don't know, commit suicide, or they're really depressed. What do we tell them? Something that means the world did not stop turning on its axis.
In Farsi?
Both in Farsi and English. You can say the Farsi
دنیا که
version.
به آخر.
Very good. Excellent.
دنیا که به آخر
Exactly.
نرسیده.
Bravo. How do you say that in English?
The word?
No. It doesn't start with the word. It starts with it. It starts with it. IT, it.
It. It. Wouldn't?
No. No.
It didn't stop?
No. I'll give you another hint. You don't use stop.
It shall pass?
No.
No.
That too shall pass? No, that's something else. Just you want to say دنیا که به آخر نرسیده. It starts with it, and instead of stop, they use the word end in it.
It
It's not the end. Hello.
Yes. Oh, hi.
It's
How
not
are you?
Hi. Thank you very much.
It's not the end.
And?
It didn't.
Yeah, you're close. Besat, can you help?
And
No, it's not the. No,
Shirin said it's
It-
not
I
the
haven't
end.
used that.
It's not the end, and there's a little bit more to this expression.
it's not the end of the world.
Exactly, very good. Exactly, yes. It's not the end of the world. دنیا که به آخر نرسیده. It's not the end of the world.
It's
The
not.
world did not stop turning on its axis. It's not the end of the world. Exactly. So you were saying ensue. You were saying the definition of ensue. Go on, please.
Ensuing, it's an adjective and it means following. And the next one
No, before
is
going to the next one, Shirin. Shirin, before going to the next one, excuse me, please give me an example of ensue or ensuing. Your own example.
I always ensue my mom's laws.
No, it doesn't mean that kind of follow. It doesn't mean that kind of follow. It means following something. You could talk about, for example, the ensuing days after a crisis. I don't know. Things like that. Okay.
I'm not going to vote in ensuing
presidential election. It means next. You're talking about the next one, not following. Yeah, but your example means the next one, not following. So ensuing doesn't mean that. Okay, that's okay. You can think about it for next session. Okay, go on. The rest of the review.
And the next one is narcissism. It's about someone who loves themselves, and they are too considered about their appearance or their abilities.
Yes. What did you say? Too what about their abilities? Sharon, what did you say? Too what? They are too something about their abilities. What
to consider.
Too considered.
Considered.
Considered. Why do you say too considered? Did you see that in a dictionary, or is that your own sentence?
It's my own.
Oh, okay. Doesn't make sense. Considered doesn't mean that. I think you meant content, huh? Maybe you mistook this one for content. Am I right? Is that what you wanted to say? Because you know, considered means در نظر گرفتن, for example. That's one of the examples. I didn't consider that. اونو در نظر نگرفتم. But content does mean that. It means راضی, but it doesn't mean از خود راضی. Just content doesn't mean that. Self-content could, but content on its own, no. Go on.
And the next one, the pledge. It's a type of disease,
No.
very bad disease that.
No. Beza, don't say anything.
Pledge.
I was just thinking, what kind of a word is it? I don't remember this one. But the problem is that you pronounced it wrong. It's not pledge. What is the pronunciation?
Plague.
The plague.
Plague.
Not plague, no. The plague.
Plague. Plague.
The
Okay.
plague. Yes, very good.
And it's very bad disease that someone who infected by this disease
No. No, Shirin, no. Focus, focus, go back. You said someone who infected by this disease. This sentence is wrong. Correct it, please.
Someone who is infected with
very
disease.
Good. By this disease, yes. And I think you can say with too. Yeah. Meaning something else, not the subject in here. Yes, go on.
Someone who is infected with disease, it they would be passed away.
No, the sentence is wrong.
They would.
No.
They
Beza,
would
don't correct her.
Away.
No. Let her correct herself. Say your sentence again. And because I'm not sure about with this disease, just say by this disease so that we can focus on the sentence being passive and stuff. I'm not sure about with.
It's conditional type 1.
Why?
It's conditional type 1.
Why conditional?
If someone is infected with disease, it will
by this disease. Let me type your sentence. The problem is you're not focused. See, if someone is infected by this disease, you said it will. What's the problem in here?
No. They.
Very good.
They will pass away.
Yes, very good. They will pass away. But have you learned about conditional type 0?
It's about the fact.
Yes.
Simple present.
Yes, that's right. Simple present in the if clause and in the result clause. Both of them.
Correct.
Yeah. When you're talking about diseases, scientific things, you can use that. For example, if you're sure 100% that if someone gets the plague, they die, then you can say that in conditional type 0. Okay. The plague also meant something else as a verb. What did it mean?
I don't know.
Bezat, what did it mean? Plague as a verb? Because in that text, Shireen, it didn't mean the actual disease. Am I right? It didn't mean the actual disease. It was used figuratively. Plague as a verb, Bezat, what does it mean? It plagues me.
Maybe to hurt something,
Yes.
or to annoy someone.
Annoy is better. Yes. Shireen, I think it was you who guessed it last session. You were the one who said annoy. I remember it like that. I don't know. Yeah, so when something plagues somewhere or plagues someone, it means that it's annoying. It's everywhere. It's annoying, and you cannot get rid of it easily, like the plague, like the disease itself. Okay, go on.
And the next one is wrangle. It's a name, and it means battle.
You mean it's a noun?
The next one
not
is
a name. Not a name. Noun.
It's a noun.
You mean noun?
It's a noun.
Yes.
And the next one is collateral damage, and It's about the harm that happened to people as a result of something.
Yes.
The next one is rely on.
Yes.
It means to trust or depend on someone, or when you need help and or expect them to do it, and you say rely on somebody.
Yes.
And the next one is ally. Ally.
No. The stress is on the first syllable. Ally. Ally.
Ally.
Yes.
A country or some group of people to help or support another country in a war.
Yes. Who help or
and
yes.
And the last one is fly the flag.
Yes.
It means to behave in a way that shows you are proud of your country or your organization.
Or you support something. Or you support something. Because in that context, it just meant democracy, not flying the flag of a particular thing. Am I right? And you said something about allies. Ally is not just for war, Shirin. It could be in the world of business too. So not just war. Could be anything, almost anything. But it does come from war, yes. Thank you very much, Shirin. That was great. Let me share today's newspaper. I've chosen The Guardian. Okay. Bezat, would you please start reading it?
Biden's victory officially recognized as he confirms new cabinet choices.
Yes. Let me maximize this for you. Okay, this part. Yes, hello?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go on, read the first paragraph. I didn't want to talk about the title because I thought it's very obvious. Biden's victory officially.
Yeah, the president-elect Joe Biden.
Yes. Yes, yes.
The president-elect Joe Biden began a new phase in his transition yesterday after the U.S. federal government recognized him as the apparent winner of the election, granting his team access to office space, intelligence briefings, and millions of dollars in funds.
Yes, very good. So the president-elect Joe Biden. Yeah. What does the president-elect mean, Bezat?
The president which was elected in the election. Or the one of the nominates who have been elected, but he's not president at this time. He's going to be the president of U.S. maybe in coming 2 months.
Yes, very good. Yes, exactly. When he is the president, the official president, then we call him the president, not president-elect. So Joe Biden began a new phase in his transition. What does phase mean?
Phase means for example, when you're going to do something that have several steps, each of these steps has several steps. or stages. Each of these stages can be a phase.
Yes, very good.
And yeah.
Yes, very good. And is transition, and transition means?
Transition means the way that he has
no, just the word transition,
his,
not about Joe Biden. The word transition, what does it mean?
Maybe transition, maybe going from one stage and position to another
Very
position.
good, excellent. Like, can you give me an example of transition? It's usually, yes, you something that you hear on the news, and there's an adjective form. What's the adjective form of transition?
Transitional.
Yes. And what does it usually accompany? Another word in the world of politics.
Which one? Transition or transitional?
Transitional.
Transitional. I don't know.
Transitional government.
What is the hint?
Transitional government.
Transitional government.
What does it mean?
Yes.
Yeah, in Farsi.
In Farsi,
yes.
دولت انتقالی.
Yes, very good, Shirin. There are other names for it too. Instead of دولت انتقالی, they call it other things in Farsi. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, you're silent. There's a delay.
We are deeply thinking.
When you're deeply thinking, you're reflecting. Reflecting means deep thought. So you're reflecting on this. دولت انتقالی, you said. دولت گذار, also دولت موقت, because it's not going to be there forever. Transitional government. I heard this a lot when there was this war, after the war in Afghanistan. On the news, you would hear it a lot. Transitional government. Okay. And transitional.
Reflect, you know.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, I want to talk about reflect. Yes, for example, when you think very deeply, or when you see inside of yourself.
Yes.
That means reflecting.
Yes, that is the reflecting too. Yes, self-reflection.
Yes,
you self-reflect. You think about your deeds, your character. You go deep inside to see what you need to correct, what personality trait you need to change, etc. Also, back to the word transition. Transition is the noun. Transitional is the adjective. There's another variation of this word.
Transit?
Yeah, that is one, yes. But I never heard it being used in English. I don't know how they use it in English, transit. I heard it a lot, of course, but I don't know. In Farsi, I heard it. But what I have in mind is something else.
Transitionally.
Not that. This one. I don't want to pronounce it. Have you ever heard or read this one? And can you?
Transient. Yes,
yes. There's another pronunciation for this too. One is transient. Another one is transient.
Transient.
Yes. There are two pronunciations for this word: transient and transient. What does it mean?
Transient.
Yeah.
Transient.
Yes.
When something is not permanently, and after a while,
very good.
It will change.
Something is not permanent, not permanently. Okay.
Permanent. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Can you give me an example of transient or transient?
For example, we use it a lot in medicine.
Yeah, sure.
For example, a condition that is transient and it would never long last, or
like what?
Or transient.
Like transient
For
something.
example, for example, you have a disease, and during the disease you develop some symptoms, and you ask me what are these symptoms and what is your interpretation, and I can assure you that it would be transient and it won't long last.
Very good. Excellent.
It won't last long.
Yes, both are correct. They say that the first one too. Sharon, do you have any examples of transient? Or can you think of one?
Transient.
Can you make one?
Transient.
Yeah, it's like saying temporary. It's like saying temporary. You know the meaning of temporary.
After workout,
Yes.
I have a transient pain.
Very good. Very good. Or you could say, for example, for travelers, their stay at a hotel is transient. They're not going to stay there forever. Stay being used as a noun. Okay, very good. Okay, go on, please. Transition yesterday after the US federal government recognized him as the apparent winner. Apparent means, Besat? Apparent?
Apparent, it's something that is clear and obvious.
Very good, obvious. What is the adverb form?
Adverb, apparently.
Yes. Does it mean the same thing as the adjective? You said apparent means obvious. Does apparently mean the same thing?
Apparently in Farsi means zahiran, but I remember that maybe in one of our sessions you gave me an example for apparently. For example, we are at home. I go out for buying something, and for example for bread, and I will tell Shirin that I'll come back in 10 minutes.
Yes.
After 10 minutes, there is a, for example, something is knocking at the door, and Shirin can say, apparently he's Behzad.
Yes. So it means?
So it means she's not sure, but she thinks that she thinks that that would be Behzad.
Yes, very good. So that's apparently. Thank you for remembering. Okay, of the election, granting his team access to office space. What does grant mean in here?
Grant means granting his team access to office space. Means he actually let his team to access to office space.
No to after let. Just let him access it.
Yes, access to office space.
Very good.
And actually granting here means to give them something.
Yes, very good. Excellent. Now, Shirin, I want to ask you something. I think we had this some sessions ago. We had granting too. Do you remember that? Some sessions ago. Granting, but in another form. Maybe grant. No, doesn't ring a bell at all. I'll give you a hint, Shirin. Excuse me. I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with the genie in the lamp. Genie in the lamp. Genie is قول چراغ جادو, and lamp is چراغ جادو.
Yes.
So, do you remember that? And we said something about Behzad because he wouldn't let you talk.
Grant.
Yes.
Gift. Give. Present. Gift.
No, not that grant. Yeah, that was not, of course, the meaning of present. There was a grant for university for scholarship, and Beza talked about it, that, for example, the university
yes.
gives you some money and it's for the research.
Yes.
You give it to your students and help with the research.
Mhm.
And then I told you about another meaning of grant. And I talked about the genie in the lamp. Do you remember anything about that? No? Nothing at all?
No.
You don't remember that session at all? No, nothing?
No, nothing.
Okay.
I'm thinking, but
Mhm.
I can't find anything in my mind.
Okay, doesn't matter. Bezat, how about you? Do you remember that? Hello?
Grant means to give.
Mhm.
Grant in, for example, university, as you said,
Mhm.
is a financial support.
Yes.
And grant,
For the genie
another meaning of grant.
and the lamp. The genie grants your wishes.
Yes.
The genie grants your wishes.
Yes.
Yeah? You wish something, he says, your wish is my command. You wish something, and he says, granted. Okay, I gave it to you. Consider it done. Your wish will come true. He gives you, the genie gives you your
Yes.
wish. Okay, grant. We also have granted. Have you ever heard that? Granted.
Granted for advance.
For advance? Did you say advance?
I think so.
What do you remember by granted?
Granted. قدر چیزی رو ندونستن یه چیزی اینجا بود.
Granted.
Granted for.
That's
آره.
to give it to take it for granted. Take it for granted. But
Take it for granted.
Take it for
Yes.
granted. That was a good example. Take it for granted. Doesn't actually mean that. When you say take it for granted, you think that it's always there. It is always granted to you. That's why you ignore it. That's why you don't pay attention. It doesn't mean not paying attention. Granted doesn't mean not paying attention. It doesn't mean not appreciating something. به معنی قدر ندونستن نیست. Okay? به این معنی است که فکر میکنید granted دیگه دادنش اصلا تضمینیه دیگه هیچ وقت نیازی نیست قصه نداشتنش رو بخورید. That's how it means ignored.
Yes, take it for granted.
Yeah, but that was a good example. What else?
Yes.
I'll give you another example, and then I want you and Shirin to guess the meaning. For example, you're teaching a class, okay? Your student comes late. There's one student who always comes late. And then he says that, well, I had a lot to do, and I was at work, and there was traffic, etc., etc. And you say, granted, you have to work, but it's very much important for me that you attend the class on time. What does granted mean?
It's okay that you have to work.
Not exactly, no. Shirin?
It's obvious.
I admit that.
I what? I admit, did you say?
I admit. Or it's true.
But what do you mean exactly?
For example, in your example, the teacher wants to say, I admit, or it is true that you have a lot to do, but you have to be on time.
Okay, very much, very, very close. Your explanation is very close. But can you tell me more? Or it's, instead of telling me more, can you give me one word in Farsi that's the equivalent of granted in my example or in that sentence?
درسته که.
Very good, excellent. قبول درسته که. قبول درسته که. Yes, exactly. Shirin, can you give me an example of
And
granted?
after that,
Excuse me. Yes, go on.
Mhm.
Beza, did you say after
and
what?
after that, maybe after granted, maybe we usually want to um, argue something.
You start your
or
sentence, Beza. You start your sentence with granted, and then you make a whole sentence as if granted doesn't exist. Granted, you have 3 children.
Yes.
Granted, you have 3 children, but you have to be on time at work. Granted, you
Yes.
don't have enough money, but you have to pay the rent. Granted, it's difficult, but that's what you
Yes.
have to do. Okay, it doesn't come in the middle of the sentence. Shirin, please give me an example of granted.
Thank you
like
very
that.
much.
You're welcome, dear. Shirin, example.
Okay. Granted, we are in a quarantine, but we have to be active and be positive.
Yes, very good. I think it's under quarantine, right? Yeah. You said in the quarantine. Is it?
What?
I said, I think it's under quarantine. Let me check, okay? Because I want to make sure. You said in the quarantine, but that was a very good example. Thank you. Okay, as I'm checking, Bezat, would you please read the rest of the sentence, the first paragraph? Granting his team access to office space. Can you talk about access?
Granting his team
Access
access
in
to
a
office
sentence
space.
structure, access, how can you use the word access?
Granting his team access. Access here.
Get.
Access to دستیافتن. The meaning of access in English?
No. The usage is like, I'm very sorry. Like effect and effect. Do you remember I said effect is the verb, effect is the noun. You can say this affects that. But if you want to use effect in that manner, you have to say to have an effect on something, it equals affecting something. It affects that, it has an effect on that. Access is like that one. Not exactly like that one, but just similar. Can
Yes,
you tell me
I
more
know
about
that.
access? Yes.
Yeah. Actually, Joe Biden let his team have the access to office space.
Okay.
Or after this event, Joe Biden's team have access to office space.
That's the same example. Make another make another example. Not about Joe Biden. Make a simple sentence. Then the example will be easier.
Yeah, when I'm in hospital, I have access to a lot of channels and websites.
Very good.
Because of hospital's Wi-Fi.
Very good. Now, you said I have access. So in here, the structure is to have access.
I have access, yes.
To have access to something.
To.
Yes. Now, use it as a verb because access is both a noun and a verb. Now use access as a verb.
I can't access to a lot of websites. No. I don't access.
Okay. Okay, make the sentence, please.
I don't access to a lot of websites and channels.
You keep saying to. No. Let me type the first structure. To have access to something. Okay, let's make a simple sentence. Bezat, when you want to learn a new structure or a new expression, always make a simple sentence. Okay, not a long one. Yes. Short and simple. I have access to the internet. Full stop.
Yes.
Now, in here, access is a noun. Have is the verb. Now I want you to use
Yes.
access in the same sentence as a verb, not a noun, not in a structure.
I don't access. I don't access without to. Yes. I don't access a lot of websites.
No, just the same sentence. Don't make another sentence. The sentence I just typed in here.
What was the sentence?
Yeah, I just typed it. I have access to the internet.
I don't access the internet.
Change it. I keep saying make the same sentence. Okay, make the same sentence. Don't change it. Don't make it negative.
Because I thought you want me to use access in another form without have in the same sentence.
Yeah, the same sentence, of course, without have. Okay, maybe I should say this in Farsi.
Yes.
Access هم اسمه و هم فعله. اگه اسم باشه توی ساختار to have access to something. اگه فعل باشه خودش فعله دیگه have نمیخواد. Okay? So, I have access to the internet or
I access.
Yes, say it.
My
Shirin.
access to internet.
Yes, no. Okay, you keep saying to Shirin, you say it. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit send.
I access.
Yes, I hit send. I'm sorry.
I access what?
Yeah, access the internet. That's
The
the easy
internet.
part of it. Yes, I access the internet.
The
I
internet.
don't have access to the internet, or I don't access the internet. So no to after access.
Then access
It's a verb. Yes.
No to. Yes.
No to.
I got it.
Okay, very good. Okay, کلا هم وقتی میخواید مثلا یک نکته گرامری جدید یا یک تنس جدید یاد بگیرید تمام اگزامپل هاتون یک اگزامپل باشه. فاعل رو میتونید تغییر بدید ولی اون اسما رو تغییر ندید. اینجوری گیج کننده میشه. وقتی که جدید باشه تو ذهنتون هم نمیمونه. اما اگه همه مثال هاتون یه شکل باشه خیلی راحت تو ذهنتون میمونه. Okay, so back to the paragraph. Granting his name access to office space. In here, access is a noun. Granting access. Instead of having access, granting, because it means giving. To office space, intelligence briefings. What does intelligence briefings mean?
Intelligence, granting his team access to office space, intelligence briefings, and millions of dollars in funds. Yes. It is one of the another item that he granted. He granted
No, he didn't
to his
grant.
team.
Okay, back to the beginning of the sentence. Forget about intelligence. Bezat, who granted what? I think you misunderstood this part. Shirin, you can help too.
Oh, the government.
Yes, the federal government granted, not Biden.
The federal government, yes.
Okay, so back to
the federal government granted.
Yeah, okay, I want you to tell me the meaning of intelligence. Intelligence, what does intelligence mean?
Intelligence,
smart
briefings.
No.
Intelligence means yes, smart.
No, doesn't mean that. First of all, intelligence is a noun. It's not an adjective. It's not intelligent to say it means smart. No. Intelligence, I'll give you a hint. I want you to guess. Intelligence in the government doesn't mean being smart or something. Intelligence is in politics. It's a part of each government. They have to control intelligence. And it doesn't mean controlling intelligent people. I'll give you another hint. There is an organization in the US named CIA. The I in CIA stands for intelligence. Means. Means what? Shirin, have you ever heard CIA? CIA?
Yes, I
So what is it?
have heard of it.
Yes, a lot. So on the news in Iran, when they talk about the CIA, how do they translate it?
Mhm.
سازمان سیاه.
Yeah, that's not a translation. That's the transliteration, not the translation. What's the meaning?
Whoosh.
No, not whoosh, no. It's information. سازمان اطلاعات. سازمان اطلاعات. Okay?
Oh.
Intelligence is information. Information that is used for spying and stuff. گاهی اوقات ترجمهش میکنن جاسوسی. Okay? سازمان جاسوسی. It's intelligence that they gather in order to be able to control the country, to, I don't know, keep the enemies away and stuff like that. So intelligence doesn't always mean being smart. In here, it means information. And briefings, that's the plural form of briefing. What does that mean? Shirin Behzad, what does briefing mean?
Summary?
What?
Brief?
No, it doesn't mean that. Again, it doesn't have anything to do with summary. For example, have you ever heard of a briefing session? Briefing session.
Briefing.
No.
Yeah,
Nothing
to
do
make
with-
something.
No. Not summarizing something, no. Behzad, when you have a new colleague, maybe an intern, I don't know. I think so. I'm not sure about hospital policies. But maybe you have to have a briefing session before you let them start work in the hospital. There's a briefing session.
Oh, yes.
What's that in Farsi?
Make them familiar.
Yeah.
Make someone familiar with rules and regulations.
Yeah. How do you say
Or
that
like
in
a
Farsi?
report.
Yes, very good. How do you say that in Farsi?
معارفه آشنایی.
They also call it جلسه توجیهی too, right? You must have heard of that. جلسه توجیهی. Brief is also a verb. You brief someone. When you give them that kind of report, you brief them. And it's not always for the beginning of something. It's used in other levels too. But yes, that's a briefing session. And you know, Biden is the new president. He's the president-elect. So there's intelligence briefings. There's intelligence that only the president and his team, his cabinet, know. So it's private somehow. There's briefings for the president. And millions of dollars.
And we also have debriefing.
Debriefing, what's that?
Debriefing, for example, we use it a lot in medicine.
Yeah.
For example, we do a procedure all together, for example, with me and my colleagues.
Yes.
And after doing something, it's very good to spend some time in a, for example, separate room and talk about our, performance, to know and to know better about our weaknesses and our strengths. And it is, this session is debriefing.
Debriefing. Do you have an equivalent for it
Debriefing,
in Farsi?
yes.
That's DE briefing, right?
DE briefing, yes.
DE briefing. No, I said, does it have an equivalent in Farsi?
In Farsi, I don't know. But it is like a report of a project.
Debriefing.
Or the information.
Yeah, but I just looked it up,
Yes.
and it says here that it's for critical incidents, like you said, after an operation or something. So maybe it's used in those
Yes, yes.
situations. Yes, very good. Thank you. Debriefing. So you
For
say it in...
example, after CPR,
Mhm. Yes, yes. Yes, go on.
after CPR,
Mhm.
I mean resuscitation of a patient. It is a procedure that maybe 5 or 6 of medical staff are involved, and it's very important to be, coordinated. And in debriefing sessions, we try to be, more familiar with our performance and to know about our strengths and weaknesses.
You try to get familiar. Okay, not be familiar. Get familiar is better.
Yeah.
You try to get familiar. So it means
Yes.
it's like criticizing yourself. You do that? Can you say that?
Yes.
I see. So
Yes,
6 people for CPR? I didn't know that. I thought it's something that could be handled single-handedly. So not just one person.
One of them is one of them is actually Israeli.
How do you say Israel in English? How do you say Israel?
Israel?
Yes.
I don't know.
Is that number 6? You said 5, 6 people. Is that number 6? Because number 6 is evil?
Ezra.
No.
Ezra?
No. Doesn't have anything to do with that. Israel in English is death with capital D. Death.
Death?
Yes, death, which means mark, but with capital D is Israel. When you read ancient texts or texts about this angel, as they call it, it's with capital D. And a skeleton with there's one, what's the name of that thing? I forgot the name of that tool, but it's a scary one. So CPR is in Farsi. تنفس مصنوعی, am I right? Or is something?
عملیات احیا. No, cardiorespiratory resuscitation.
So it's something else.
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
It's not تنفس مصنوعی then.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, it's not only تنفس مصنوعی. Yeah, it's the whole process. تنفس مصنوعی, ماساژ قلبی, some medicine, all of them are, it's CPR.
I see. Okay, thanks for the information. So we learned about debriefing and also briefing as معرفه and debriefing as debriefing.
Yes.
Because we don't know it in Farsi.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Behzad. Let's go to Shirin. Shirin, would you please read the second paragraph?
Yes. Donald Trump, who has spent weeks falsely claiming that the election was marred by a widespread marred by widespread voter fraud.
Yes, fraud. Yes.
Voter fraud offered support for the move in effect surrounding his long shot attempt.
It's not surrounding.
His long.
It's surrendering.
Surrendering.
No, not
surrendering. Surrendering. Surrendering his long shot attempt to overturn the result, but still refused to formally concede. He spoke to reporters at the White House yesterday, touting the stock market, but declining to answer questions.
Very good. So Donald Trump, who has spent weeks falsely claiming that the election was marred by widespread voter fraud, offered support for the move, in effect surrendering his long-shot attempt to overturn the result, but still refused to formally concede. That was a very long sentence. Donald Trump, who has spent weeks falsely claiming, What does claim mean, Shireen? Falsely claiming.
Falsely.
In English, not Farsi.
He says there is something wrong in the election,
Yes.
and he ادعا کردن. He
Yes,
says
yes,
he
ادعا کردن.
talk.
Yes, very good. Now, Shireen, have you ever heard claim being used about another thing on the news?
Claim.
Yes. I'll give you a hint. Maybe you have not heard it. But when there's a bombing somewhere, like a suicide bomber or something, they usually use claim plus another word. Claim something. When there's a
responsibility.
Very good, yes. Claiming responsibility. Yes, for the explosion, for the bombing or something.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. How do you say
Like
that?
Taliban.
Yes, Taliban, yes, by Taliban. And Shirin, how do you say that in Farsi? To claim responsibility for the explosion. Yes, very good. Very good, yes, okay. Claiming that the election was marred. What does marred mean in here? In English.
Harmed or
Yes, very good.
harmed.
Yes, or manipulated. Someone fiddled with it. That's not what it actually was. Yes. By widespread voter fraud. Widespread means in English?
Widespread. By widespread.
Just widespread. Just widespread. Nothing, not the rest of it. What does widespread mean? Or can you give me an example of widespread?
Current?
Not exactly, no.
Widespread.
Just give me an example, Shireen. Give me an example of widespread. Give me a phrase in which you use widespread. Widespread something. I'll give you a hint, Shireen.
Okay.
These days, the role.
For example,
yes. Yes, go on.
Corona.
Very good.
Widespread.
Widespread is not a
in
verb.
Entire world.
It's not a verb, Shireen.
Widespread disease.
It's corona is a widespread disease.
Yes, very good. Yes, it's a widespread disease. Yes, very good. Voter fraud. And what does fraud mean, Shireen?
Fraud. It's not real.
Yes.
Fake.
Okay. Like what? Give me a synonym for fraud.
Cheat.
Yes,
cheating
like a cheating or something, like a trick that you play. Yes. Fraud also means the person who does that. How do you say that in Farsi? When you say he's a fraud. He is a fraud.
کلاهبردار.
Exactly. Do you know any other words in English that mean the same thing, that mean fraud?
Deceive?
No, deceive is the verb. There's one word that we use in Farsi too. I'm not sure if it's purely English, but I know that English people do use it. It starts with the sound sh, and it starts with ch.
Cheater?
No, not cheater. I said we use it in Farsi too, but it's not Farsi. Bezat, can you help?
Charlatan.
Very good. Yes, say it.
Charlatan.
Yes, very good. Charlatan. Yes, charlatan.
Yes, charlatan.
Charlatan means the same thing. Yes. Why do you whisper whenever you're saying it right? Charlatan. Charlatan.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but when it's wrong, you shout it.
And what is the meaning of
Yes.
what is the meaning of rigged election?
Yeah, we had that one too.
Rigged. The Donald Trump used it.
Yes. I remember
we
had
didn't.
this.
I'm not sure, but
I remember that because we had it in
this
our
is
movie
the
class, and in one of the movies that we worked on was The Dictator. Have you watched it?
Donald Trump uses it in his tweets
Yes,
a lot.
it means the same
Rigged
thing.
election.
It means marred, the same as that one. But do watch it. There is this movie called
Oh,
The
yes.
Dictator, and please download and watch it. It's a comedy and really beautiful. This actor plays the role The Dictator. I just typed the name. That's the name of the movie, The Dictator. This actor plays the role of a dictator, and then as he's giving a lecture in the UN, he talks about rigged elections and uses the word that you just mentioned, Bezat, and mentions it as one of the perks of a dictatorship, the benefits of a dictatorship. And he was condemning everyone, all the audience. Why do you condemn and scold us dictators? These are the good things that we have in our countries. We don't have any election that's not rigged. Okay, you just remind me of that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so marred, we did marred, right? No, we didn't do marred. Marred means yes, you manipulated, you rigged.
Yes, marred.
It's you do something to change the results. Yeah, rig means the same thing. Offered support for the move, in effect, surrendering his long shot attempt. Shirin, I know that you know the meaning of the word attempt, but what does long shot mean?
Long shot.
Yes.
Mm,
Before saying that, tell me if it's a verb or an adjective. Long shot.
long shot.
Yes.
Adjective.
Very good.
Long shot attempt.
Yes.
Very massive, big.
No, doesn't mean that.
Huge.
Doesn't exactly mean that. Doesn't exactly mean that. Shirin, if you cannot give me the meaning of it, can you give me an example of long shot?
I have heard it a lot,
Yes.
but I don't know.
Nothing. Bezat, how about you? Long shot.
Don't know
what does it mean?
What it means exactly.
Bezat, you long shot.
Long shot.
I'll give you an example.
I haven't used that before.
Okay, I'll give you an example, and then I want you to make a guess. Having the most successful country in the world. Iran becoming the most successful country in the world in just 1 year is a long shot.
It's
big success.
No, it's impossible, or it's
yes,
it's not going to happen.
Yes, but not impossible. It's very unlikely. The chances
very unlikely.
Yes, very unlikely. It's not very probable. It could happen, but it's not likely. It's not probable. It's very unlikely. Yes. It's a long shot. It's a long shot. There's very small chance or slight chance that you might succeed, but it's very small. It's a It's a long shot.
Small chance of succeeding.
Yes, for example, Bezat, you remember Lalian Ladan, Shirin, you must too, right? Us Iranians, all of us remember those.
Yes, yes.
The twins who wanted to be separated.
Yes.
That surgery was
Yeah.
a long shot, right? There was very little
A long
chance
shot.
of
Yes,
them
yes.
surviving the surgery. So it's a long shot.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank
There's
you
a
very
lot
much.
to say.
That's nice.
You're welcome. There's a lot to say, but the time is over. It's 4:20. But I wanted to talk more about this. Maybe next session. Okay.
What is surrendering?
Yes, surrender when you give up. It's like taslim shodan.
Give up.
Yes, he
Yes.
surrendered his long shot attempt.
Give up.
The attempt, you know, means try
Yes.
to overturn the result. It means to abolish the result, but still refuse to formally concede.
Yes.
Okay, and you know the meaning of concede? Means?
Concede means واگذار کردن.
Not exactly. No, no. Okay, this is the last one. Shirin, what does concede mean?
Concede. Give.
No.
Or
Means to accept, agree, say yes to something.
agree.
But after you refused, not just any agreement. When you concede, it's after you insisted on not doing something. For example, your daughter comes to you and says, let's go to Paris for Nowruz. And you say, no, we don't have time. Okay. We have to go to New York this year. We don't have time for Paris. No,
We don't
have money.
you have the money. You just don't have the time. You say positive things, okay? You don't want your daughter to know that. And then after she insists a lot, then you concede. When you concede, it's not like any other kind of agreement or acceptance. You accept something after you say no to it. After you say no, no. But then you accept, then you concede. When you accept after that, you concede. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Concede defeat.
Excuse me?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Concede defeat, for example.
Defeat.
Defeat.
Yes.
Yani شکست.
Yeah, concede defeat, yes.
Yes.
They told you that you failed, but you don't accept it. But after some time, like Donald Trump, he has to concede, yes. Okay, thank you very much and have a nice evening.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.